This is episode 231 of the Super League pod. There's controversy all over Rugby League this week, and not just over whether the famous Frenchman is actually Spanish, but we'll give you our views on it all. There will be some laughing, but no booing, as there's a big chunk of news and results to cover. With cup predictions, boulevard memories, and Alan, baby, there's plenty to get stuck into. So get strapped in, because it's SLP time. Hello everyone, welcome along to episode 231 of the Super League pod. You've got Mark here, Wigan fan Mark, and also Hull FC fan Sarah. Sarah, welcome back.
Hello, good to be here again.
It feels like it's been a while, but it's not, because you were on when I was off the other week.
Yeah, yeah, echoing.
Well, I'm going to be echoing for a while. What we've done at the house this weekend actually is strip the old wallpaper off the room that is going to be the podcast room, but at the moment it is the most echoey room in the house because the floors come up and the walls are just plasterboard, but it will be a safe space for recording in the future, which is exciting. I don't understand how the podcast room's the priority of the first room we seriously address in the house, but maybe she wants somewhere to shove me away while she does the master plan of designing the rest of
that could well be it, yeah.
Exactly, I think that's possibly it, yeah. Keep me quiet somewhere. Right,
yeah.
Do you want to tell us before we crack into things who this episode of SLP is sponsored by?
Yep, this episode is sponsored by Rob's Toy Shop. Find a wide range of toys, gifts, rugby league birthday cards and more at Rob's Toy Shop on eBay. Visit stores.ebay.co.uk/Rob's Toy Shop, and on any orders over £5 you can earn 5% cash back, and 1% of your order value will go into the SLP coffers by putting SLP discount at checkout. Yeah,
remember that, everyone. It's SLP discount at checkout on Rob's Toy Shop. Do support our sponsors. They support us, so we hope that you guys support them. And with this particular sponsor, we get a little bit back if you spend some money with them, so that's cool as well. Before we talk about what we've got coming up on the show, shall we have our now customary Might and Warriors catch up? How are the youngsters doing? How is Joshua doing as the prime halfback of... I don't know where in Hull. It's kind of mid-Hull, isn't it?
North Hull.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's doing well, actually. He's talking a lot, as you'd expect. And when people aren't listening, he's manhandling them around the pitch as well.
Well, you see that from some of the top halfbacks when they're having to deal with some players who are a bit fatigued and not really doing what they're supposed to do. So I think that's a good sign.
Yeah.
As long as it's not the referee.
No, he's not yet started manhandling the referee. That's good. Yeah, they're doing well. One of these days, it's all going to click and it's all going to come off. We're just waiting for that day. But, you know, it's really encouraging. Some of the teams, they have the coaches on the sideline shouting every play that they're going to have, whereas Dave's a lot more hands-off. He's of the opinion, I've trained you, now you go out and put it into practice. Which is nice to give them that ownership of it. Yeah,
it makes them feel a bit more in control and sort of a bit more grown up, like the players in Super League who call their own plays.
Having said that, Chev Walker yesterday was there calling every play behind the Leeds line. No, just for Leeds, although he was telling them where they should be defensively as well, so that's so good.
Well,
I think Joshua's also decided that really as a halfback, tackling isn't his thing.
But he used to like tackling. It used to be what he practiced the most.
He still likes to practice it at home or anywhere that's not on a rugby pitch.
Well, he's been watching too much Albert Kelly then, because he doesn't tackle really either, does
Albert Kelly does. Sneed isn't so good at it.
Both of them are epic missed tackle counts, but I'm sure the tackling will come when he sees that the top halfbacks have to be able to defend as well.
Well, yeah, he signed up for a couple of camps with Hull over the summer, so they'll be good.
I'm sure he will make sure that he's noticed.
Well, he did have a chat with Mark Sneed at the Fan Fun Day the other week when they discussed what you do with forwards who don't take notice of you.
And he's been putting that into practice, so he's already showing quick development, which is what we want to see from our star of the future.
Indeed.
Okay, so what we've got coming up on the show, we've got a couple of shout-outs to start off with. And where people can get involved in some things. One thing for SLP, one thing for a friend of SLP, but all good stuff. Then, we've got the big news story of reserves returning to go through, plus no doubt some speculation about the release of the Real Me Part 2 as Gareth Hock has announced his retirement. Then we've got Super League Round 23 with fan reviews from all of the games, not huge volumes, but some on all the games at least, which is fantastic. Other results, which include some coverage for the community game this week as well, which is exciting. We always like to put in anything that the listeners send in. Finally, find out what we expect to happen at next week's Challenge Cup day out in Bolton, where we've got the men's Coral Challenge Cup semi-finals and the women's Challenge Cup final, which is going to be a very exciting game. All that's to come. First of all, people who've been monitoring their email inboxes might have seen that emails have been sent out with the survey results and some follow-on surveys where we want to get more details from the listeners, from the voters, to kind of be able to put some more information in front of Super League, the RFL, the clubs, to say this is what people want. If you haven't had an email but you did complete the first survey, then do check your spam folders because it's possibly been sent in there. Or if you didn't give us your email address on the first survey, but you do want to fill in the extra surveys to make them give us meaningful results as possible, then do get in touch with us and we'll send the survey links. I guess superleaguepod@gmail.com is the best way, because then I'll have your email address. But if
I'll have to email you to get it. Oh, I pay not to have filled my email in.
I can sort that out very quickly after the show. And so we can get those over to people, and if you don't want to email us, hit us up on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or something, and we'll find a way to get the forms to you anyway. So that's good. We would sort of say feel free to share them as well. We do want people to share them with other people, but we kind of want to avoid going down the online forums and Facebook groups and that sort of stuff this time around with these more detailed, longer surveys than the first short, snappy survey, just because what we want to do is trying to avoid duplicate respondents as much as possible, because it'll skew the results and make them less meaningful if some people are pushing their own agendas, because it will become apparent that's what's happening through the way that they're set up, and it just means that it's harder work for us for me to sort through them, because it's my baby. This, I don't know. The other guys are very supportive, but it's my baby. Also, please take the results report that'll be attached to the email. Take that in the spirit it's meant. It's not meant to cause offence to anyone. So if your team's been called out for something negative or called out for something that you perceive to be negative, it's just a publication of the results that we received. And also, it's not there to be used by one fan base to criticise another or to maintain debates that have been going on over the years or over the weeks and months recently about certain facets of the sport. It's there to help inform people, educate people, so we can push forward with things, try and get some improvements in the sport that we all love. So let's try and treat it in that way, if possible, everyone, and that would be really appreciated. And like I say, do fill in the survey, do check your spam, and if you haven't had the surveys, get in touch by email, superleaguepod@gmail.com, and I'll make sure you get a copy of the links to the surveys and a copy of the report as well that everyone will want to see from the first set of results. Okay, the second thing I wanted to mention is there's a new book being worked on by a friend of the show, Matt McCauley. It's going to be called Leagueosophy, and Matt is looking for contributors, and I think the SLP family will be full of great contributors to this project. He's looking for input for 3 of the chapters in the book. So firstly, big questions. He wants to know why rugby league is so important to people. So if you've got a really strong story about why rugby league means so much to you, then I think get in touch about that. He also wants to look at hotbeds of rugby league. So anything special, wonderful, weird, silly, intriguing, funny, what have you, about the rugby league town that you've grown up in, then Matt wants to know stories like that. And then finally, what is called Leagueophilia. Basically any exceptional lengths that people go to watch their team, or anybody who goes home and away no matter what for years and years on end. Any fans who've been through thick and thin, so maybe some West Wales Raiders fans who've been through the hard times and were there at the game that they finally got a win against Coventry this weekend. That'd be a good one. People who's had their relationships upset by their love of rugby league as well, maybe. Possibly people who've gone all around the world. I'm thinking, Sarah, we've got some people, we had Rich Wilkinson who came over just to see the grand final when it was Sinfield and Peacock's final game for Leeds Rhinos. Brian Davies, who went to the World Cup, then went to the mid-season international, then the World Cup, then went to Denver last year. We've got people in the SLP groups there that do have some stories to tell. We've probably got stories to tell as well, Sarah. You're passing out at the cup final to realise that you then won was Magic Weekend, wasn't it?
That was just when Fanua scored, yeah. His second.
We've all got funny or interesting or heartfelt stories as well about rugby league. So yeah. Basically, Matt will accept anything from brief anecdotes or to long stories that you can send from. Anything that he puts in the final book will be credited. People will be invited to the launch party, which is very much not set at this stage, and obviously Matt will be very grateful along the way. So anybody who's interested should either contact us and we can pass on the details, or go to Matt directly by email to mattmacaulay23@gmail.com. What I'll do is I'll put that in the episode blog, superleaguepod.com, if people want to get in touch with Matt there. So I know Matt through him being a Wigan fan, and he did a similar book for Wigan, his hometown, his home team, so that the culture and the stories around the town and the team, and I think he's looking at expanding that now into a rugby league wide thing. So he certainly got in touch with me straight away with this idea and said the SLP family is going to be able to contribute surely to this, so please reach out to them. So do get in touch with Matt if you want to contribute to what will be a really interesting read. He's hoping to get it out in time for the next World Cup, so we've got a couple of years to put it together, so do get in touch with Matt. That's it for the intro to the show this week. A couple of interesting things that we wanted to touch on, but we're now going to move on to news from around the world of rugby league.
So in news, Super League and the Rugby Football League have announced a reserve grade competition will be relaunched in 2020. The 11 English Super League clubs approved a proposal for all Super League clubs to have a reserve team. Clubs outside Super League with a Category 1 academy, such as Widnes and Bradford, will also have a side. 5 clubs in the Championship and League One have also applied to have their own reserve team for next season, with a decision to be made by the end of July.
Yeah, so we got some people getting in touch on this, because it's a big story that people have wanted for a while. So Tom Andrews said, "Hooray, something that should never have left in the first place. Wonder how much talent we have lost due to them having nowhere to go." Fatboy Rob said, "Hopefully it will be used the right way, i.e. to give the younger players, especially the forwards, time to develop. If not, it could destroy the amateur game in some areas. If done right, it could give a real boost to season ticket sales and pay for itself with the money spent in the ground. Overall, it's a thumbs up from me." And Joshua's granddad said, "Fully support the return. Too many chairmen took the short-sighted view. Full pathway, academy, reserved and first team should be a mandatory requirement for all Super League clubs and all with aspirations to be Super League clubs." And Paul Chamberlain said, "What if, like Leeds, you have been playing reserve quality as your first team all season? Do you get a dispensation from this competition?" Excellent stuff.
It's not a lot to say on that, is there?
No, or if you're St Helens and played your reserve team last weekend. More of that chat later on, I'm sure. But yeah, where do you stand on reserves? Hull FC are one of the 2 Super League clubs that are running reserves this year, so I assume it's full support from your end. Yeah,
I got plenty of memories of going down to the Boulevard and watching the A team play on a Thursday night. So, and my embarrassing story about that is when I was a teenager, standing in Threatley stand shouting, "Kick the ball to me, kick the ball to me." And then one of the penalties did come near me and I ran away screaming. tell that story, because otherwise Dad will only get it in later when I say about watching A-team rugby.
And that was the last year at the Boulevard. No,
But no, I think it's really important.